Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Wyatt Earp's greatest distinction as Marshal of Wichita, Kansas, was based on the fact that in 100 showdowns with armed lawbreakers, he preferred to disable an opponent rather than shoot to kill. But George Peshauer, a renegade of such villainy that he was expelled from the Thompson gang of outlaws, managed to anger Wyatt into a killing temper. On the western frontier of 1875, Marshal Earp was considered reckless and foolishly quixotic to spare outlaws' lives at the risk of his own. And in the case of George Peshauer,
check in your guns quick. When Earp shows up, nobody knows nothing about this hoorah. I'm in town on business, but Rawhide and Deacon Earp, that's my pleasure.
I beg your pardon. Are you by any chance Mr. George Peshauer?
That's right. You must be that English fella.
Oh, you can tell?
Don't worry about it, son. Time you spent a couple of months on that spread you figured on buying, you look like a cowman same as anybody else.
I shall try to be, Mr. Peshauer.
What do you say? Let's go in and get a drink.
Thank you. I'd like...
Well, if it isn't our Miss Prim.
Sorry. We haven't one vacant room.
Oh? Is your bar filled up too? Come along, mister. I don't believe I remember your name from the letter.
Evatt. Rodney Evatt.
Ah.
I don't like the name Miss Prim. Do you mind if I call you Miss Primrose?
The guest is always right.
Nobody ever gets anywhere with her, son. She's a mama's girl, proper and prim.
Well, I've been here 2 days, and this is the first time she's spoken. I thought customs were a little bit more breezy out here in Western America.
Well, you didn't speak to me.
Well, that's true, but I thought the lady was supposed to speak first.
hello, Mr. Peshauer.
Hello, Deacon. Son, this is Deacon Wyatt Earp, the big law and order man in this town.
Marshal Earp, I've heard a lot about you.
Who did that shooting just now?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't, huh? You're a liar. Still want to say you don't know anything about it?
Look, Earp, you run it over me and Chad Pierce once in Ellsworth. Don't try it here. Now, you didn't see this shooting. Try and find a witness that'll say they saw me.
You're still a liar.
Now, gentlemen. Are those fighting words here in Western America?
Come on, son. We got business to talk over. He's wearing guns. I'm not.
I'll say that I saw him.
Did you, Miss Cole?
No. But if it'll help you put him in jail, well, I'm morally certain that he and his crowd did it.
So am I. But you stay out of this. Mr. Peshauer is a real nasty man. Is that, Englishman a friend of his?
I don't know. Mr. Evatt checked in yesterday.
Well, they couldn't be friends. Mr. Evatt looks like a newcomer to me.
Yes, he is.
Well, I guess he's over 21. Say hello to your mother for me.
Mr. Earp.
Look, there's nothing I can do, Miss Cole.
But you know that man's going to cheat Mr. Evatt in some way. Why, isn't Peshauer the one that Ben Thompson refused to ride with anymore?
Yeah?
Then Mr. Evatt's in real danger.
Well, he's liable to be bilked out of some money, yeah.
Well, can't you warn him or tell him that...
Look, the British are as stubborn a group as we have. A lot of them have bought ranches in Texas and Arizona territory. If they've been cheated, they kept their mouths shut and worked their own way out of it. Don't you worry about him. He'll be all right. You just help your mother take care of this hotel.
No. two sections have year-round grass. The little stony creek runs right through the middle of the place.
Well, it sounds ideal for cattle.
She'll carry 5,000 head, easy.
Well, where do I buy the cattle?
From the same place you buy the ranch. George, Peshawar and Company.
Good. Oh, that simplifies matters. I'd like to see the place. Could we ride down there today?
Well, not today, son. It's 150 miles.
100? Well, that would be a bit of a gallop, eh?
I say, young chappie, you must be a blinking Britisher.
Why, yes, I am.
Fancy that. And how's your fuddy-duddy old queen?
You take that back and apologize to my friend.
I'm apologizing to no one. Kings, queens, or even you.
No. No, he's mine.
Nor you.
Stop it!
I'll fix you.
No! Mr. Earp!
You killed him.
I had to. He'd have got you.
Yes. I don't know what to say. Thank you, man, for saving one's life is a...
No, forget it, son.
I won't forget it, Mr. Peshawar. I won't forget it. This man tried to shoot me. My friend here shot him first. Is that the way it happened?
Mr. Everett and the cowhand were fist fighting. Then Mr. Everett knocked him down and he drew a gun from the rack. Mr. Peshawar shot first.
With what? With this?
You're under arrest.
For saving my friend Everett?
No, for not checking this.
But, Marshal, it's obvious that...
There'll be an inquest. You can tell your story then. Men pick him up and carry him to Dr. Fabric's office.
He doesn't need a doctor. He's dead.
Dr. Fabric is also our coroner. Come on, we'll take a walk over to the jail.
That Marshal out of his mind. Mr. Peshawar saved my life, and now he's being arrested. It doesn't make sense.
Well, you're the one who's addled.
Addled? Oh?
Peshawar's a killer. Why, he didn't care about saving you. He saw a chance to kill a man, and he took it.
I beg to differ with you. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go bail for Mr. Peshawar.
Wait. Just answer one question. Please.
Of course.
Is Peshawar trying to sell you something?
A ranch and some cattle? You American woman. It's amazing.
Cora. Yes, Mother.
Lock the door, lock the door. Oh, this is dreadful. Right in our own lobby. Oh, we never should have bought this hotel. And you, poor child, had to see it. I don't see how you managed not to faint.
Now, Mother, you know I never...
What's to become of us? And of this hotel?
Just business as usual, Mother.
Oh, Cora, how can you be so calm? A shooting right in our lobby.
But it's going to be a lot worse.
What?
I just finished talking to Jed, and he said that...
Jed?
One of our bartenders, Mother.
Oh, yes, Jed. He's one of our bartenders.
Yes. He said that Mr. Everett is going to buy a ranch and a lot of cattle for 10,000 pounds. Why, Mother, that's almost $50,000.
Oh, well, that boy has an extremely rich family in England if he wants to buy a ranch.
But, Mother, he's dealing with George Peshawar.
Oh. Oh. Is he the man who shot the other man?
Yes.
Oh, but the ranch deal, Cora, that's simply a business transaction. What on earth's worrying you?
Jed says the ranch isn't any good, and that most of the cattle were stolen.
Oh, dear.
We can't let Peshawar cheat Mr. Everett.
What can we do about it?
Mother, I want you to go to Mr. Earp. Ask him to investigate this.
Me? Oh, Cora.
But he'll listen to you. And then we can get Jed to tell him about Peshawar's ranch and the cattle.
Oh, no. No, that's quite impossible. It wouldn't do at all.
Well, why not?
Well, it just wouldn't, that's all. Mr. Peshawar might think we were interfering and... Well, it just isn't a matter that a lady can discuss.
All right. I'm not a lady.
Cora! Oh, I didn't bring it.
Here's the bail money for my friend. I don't know much about your American law, Mr. Earp, but I have the distinct impression that it follows most of the English statutes. Or am I in error?
No, Mr. Abbott, you're not in error. We derive from English law.
Then any offense less than murder is bailable.
True. But killing a man in a gunfight is murder, technically.
I say now, Mr. Earp, that's not quite cricket. You heard Miss Cora admit...
Mr. Abbott, your friend's going to stay in jail until a coroner's jury exonerates him.
Then it's obvious there's bad blood between you and Mr. Peshawar.
Look, he's a killer, a cheat, and a rustler. Or I could use more profane terms if you'd like.
I suppose you have proof of what you say.
Yeah, I caught him cheating at poker once.
Now, that's only your word.
Do you doubt my word?
Mr. Peshawar defended me at the risk of his own life. I think I should defend him. Seems to me I'm obliged, you know. Yes, I think you're a liar.
Marshal Earp, what happened?
We had a bit of a row.
Why did you pick on him? Peshawar's the one that ought to have his head knocked off.
It was a beautiful right punch. Maybe I should have called you out with revolvers.
Are you good with them?
Not too bad. I shot for England at the Bisley matches. Miss Primrose. I am sorry. I vaguely remember the scent of perfume, but I thought I was in the land of dreams.
You still are, if you plan to deal with George Peshawar.
Oh? You agree with Mr. Earp?
Yes. If you'd only listen, you'd understand
I'm
why...
sorry. I'm being stubborn, I know. It's a bad habit with us British. We're loyal to our friends.
Well, I tried, Miss Cohen.
But Jed says the ranch is no good, that the cattle were rustled.
Mr. Abbott should demand proof in writing. Why are you so concerned?
Well, it's nothing personal. It's just that he's a guest at the hotel, and, well, we always look after our guests.
Now, well, take my advice and forget it.
You mean just stand by and watch a visitor being cheated out of $50,000?
Miss Cora, if he goes through with the deal and finds out that he's being swindled, he can always swear out a warrant against Peshawar and sue him. Besides, there are an awful lot of Englishmen. Why don't you find yourself a smart one?
Why, Mr. Earp, you don't think I'm interested in Mr. Evatt?
Yes, I do. Now, look, I told you back at the hotel to stay away and not make trouble with Peshawar. Young England is going to stick with him to the last ditch. He'll break your heart.
Good day, Mr. Earp.
We sure made a monkey out of Earp. Justifiable homicide. Even old Dr. Bink gave him what for.
I wasted the coroner's time.
Hey, I've been waiting to ask you. Where'd you get that bruise on your jaw?
Oh, a bit of a shandy-gow.
Earp, he done it?
Well, it's all over now. I suggest we forget about it.
No, we won't forget it. Hey, Deacon. Big John Law. Punching my young friend Evatt.
You want to make that your business?
I want this young man to know that you're not a fair sample of an American. When you're not wearing your guns, you're as yellow as a buzzard's beak.
Take them off.
Now, leave 'em on. And when you and I meet, I'll be wearing mine.
You do that. Is Mr. Earp afraid of you?
You saw the way he acted, didn't you?
Didn't seem afraid to me. Looked like he was trying to hold his temper.
Just bluff, son, bluff. When I'm wearing my guns, the man that's not afraid of me is a fool or an idiot. Now, come on. Let's go wet our whistle. Talk about that cattle spread. Well, Miss Prim.
I'll be with you in a moment, Mr. Peshar.
No hurry at all, young man.
I'd like a word with you, if I may, Miss Gill.
Why, certainly. Is something wrong with our service?
No, but there is something wrong with me.
Oh?
It's really quite important. Could we go into your parlor?
Well, just for a moment. Mother's busy in the dining room, and I have to watch the desk.
Just for a moment. I'm afraid I'm a stubborn coot.
Quite.
But you and Mr. Earp wouldn't have warned me against a man unless you had what seems to you a good reason.
No, we wouldn't.
Well, what is the reason?
Thought you had a tight hobble on that Britisher.
What do you mean?
Just straight into the parlor with Cora Gill.
He'll be running back in here for a drink to warm him up after he's talked to her for 5 minutes.
And Mr. Earp says that you should ask for proof of everything, in writing. I haven't any proof.
You must think me quite a simpleton. I had no intention of buying from Mr. Peshar sight unseen.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that.
You see, the ranch was listed with Higby and Pelham in London. They're quite reliable brokers. He sent me a complete description of the ranch with photographs.
Well, it's your money, Mr. Earp.
But I must look at the ranch, you know. I mean, in justice to Mr. Peshar.
Tell me, do you plan to take much cash with you?
I have given you a dreadful impression of stupidity. No, I carry a Bank of England drops.
You're not stupid.
Now, isn't that odd?
What?
Of how happy I feel just to hear you say, I'm not stupid. It's quite true, you know. I've been in love with you for the last half hour at least.
Longer than that.
Really?
Excuse me, Miss Cora. Mr. Peshar wants to see Mr. Abbott right away.
I'll tell him in a few minutes.
No. No, he mustn't get the idea
You're
that...
quite right. You wait right here. I've got much more to say to you.
And I've got a lot to think about.
You wanted to see me?
The paper just came out with a bad weather report for tomorrow.
Oh?
I think we'd better hit the trail, son. We can cross most of the creeks before the rains flood them.
Well, when would you want to leave?
Right away.
I'll have to go upstairs and pack my gear.
Oh, I'm sorry to rush you this way, but when it rains this time of year, that trail gets mighty bad. Earp and these fool laws.
Oh, Miss Cora, there's bad weather coming up. Mr. Peshar thinks we ought to go for the ranch right away.
No. No, please don't go with him.
Hey, what is this?
Well, Cora and I have an understanding.
What's the idea of telling him not to go with me?
You're a cheat. And a crook.
You've been listening to Wyatt Earp, huh?
Now, look, let's not have any of this.
I'll ask her. What else does Earp say?
Earp doesn't say anything. I say it.
Why, you stay out of this. I think not.
No, he'll shoot.
Fuck you.
I want Earp.
Where are you going?
I left my gun in my room.
You, going after him? Why don't you let me and the boys take the shower?
He offered me the fight.
But you're too sore at him, Wyatt. You might kill him.
That's right.
No, sir.
Oh?
A lot of folks heard Peshawar rawhide you. If you kill him, folks gonna say it was a grudge fight. You've been up against a lot of men as bad as Peshawar, and only wounded them or buffaloed them.
Well, this is different.
Why is it different?
Because Peshawar really hates me. The rest of them were just drunks or killers paid to do a job. Men in a corner like Ben Thompson. I just can't risk winging Peshawar.
But he'll be the first man you ever killed.
Well, there's always got to be a first.
Oh, no, you're not.
It's my job.
It's not your job. The fight's between him and Mr. Earp.
No, it's my fight.
You can't do anything with a gun. Mr. Earp's been in 100 fights. He can take care of Peshawar. You let him handle this.
No. A man must shoot his own tigers.
Well, you can't love me and do this.
I love you very much. Barney, you seen Wyatt Earp?
No. Guess I reckon he's over to jail. Do you want to see him?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see him.
Keep away from me. Get out of range.
Mr. Earp, stay out of this. I don't want you, stupid. I want Earp. No, I'm your man. I don't know the etiquette of these things, Mr. Peshawar. I advise you to go for your gun. All right. I'll take both of you.
Why'd you butt in?
Well, it's my job. He's not dead, is he?
No. Where'd you aim?
Shoulder shot?
You hit him in the chest. Why don't you aim for the heart?
Well, I had to spare his life. He saved mine, you know.
All right. Take him on over to Dr. Brick's office. Give me your gun.
Oh. Of course.
There, dear, there's no need to carry on so. I told you, if we had stayed in Chicago...
Oh, if we'd stayed in Chicago and I'd married Mr. Donaldson. Stop it! Stop it!
Now, dear, if you had just listened to me... that English boy, did he get hurt?
No, ma'am.
Oh, thank heaven. There you see, Cora, now everything's going to be all right.
Oh, I begged him not to go, but he went anyway.
Mr. Evart's a fine man. I think he saved Mr. Peshawar's life twice.
Saved his life twice.
Well, he didn't kill him, and he kept me from temptation.
Well, then, what did happen to Mr. Peshawar?
Well, he'll live. He got shot in the chest. Miss Cora, I told you there were an awful lot of Englishmen, but I think you ought to stop looking.
Did you put Rodney in jail? Have you no shame? A man who went out to meet a desperado. A man who might have saved your life. A man... Rodney. Oh, Rodney.
Oh, Mr. Earp, you had him up your sleeve all the time. You know, he's so much like that boy in Chicago. Why, you know, I don't think that Mr. Donaldson knows, but there was that other boy.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt